Hello friends, and welcome to Figure Study, where we appreciate the form in Transformers. Today we're going to be taking a look at Transformers The Last Knight Dragonstorm. This is a figures, however you want to qualify it, that I had my eyes set on for a while, and then it was getting to be a bit of a pain in the butt to actually find online. I could never find it in stores, so I kind of gave up on the idea of getting them. Then Diana and I went to our local Toys R Us, and by chance they actually had stuff in stock, and they had Dragonstorm, and I thought about it for a bit and was just like, I'm gonna get them. And I got Dragonstorm. And I gotta say, for all the problems that this guy has, and he does have problems, obviously, right from the start, you can see there's some paint issues going on here, just in terms of, like, there not being much. Despite all the problems these guys have, this is a really fun toy. I actually really like Dragonstorm, so I guess spoilers? I don't know. But yeah, Dragonstorm is very cool. So the three-headed dragon mode is pretty awesome. I mean, it totally has paint issues. Like, if you look at them from the top, it's actually pretty nice. You've got this kind of silvery dry brush thing that's going on everywhere that really brings out the spindly webbing. Almost looks like, I don't know, twigs or something that make up the wings in the back here. Like, that brings out a lot of nice detail. But then you've got this part here that's like it's painted, but it's kind of plain. And like with the heads, you've got these bits up here. It's a pretty nice balance of like silver and orange, but it seems like it was a bit sloppily applied to all of them. And then you've also got nice details in the face with like the eyes and stuff like that you just can't see because it's really dark black plastic. And of course you've got like gray here, then black here, then gray here again, and so that like breaks up the look of the of all three necks. And then you've also got robot fists for a throat, and for the most part this guy holds together pretty well for me, but I did just pop his sensitive bits apart there. I mean, these hold together relatively well too, but still, it just kind of, yeah, he's got issues. And then also you've got these arms here that are all gray, and then the back legs here are mostly all black, so it's like there's no cohesion to the colors on this guy. I feel like the lack of paint would be less problematic if they went with a more cohesive pattern of like which colored plastics they use. Like, I guess, yeah, this is part of the bicep armor or whatever, but like, why couldn't this have also been gray? Why couldn't this have all been black to go with like the head, or the face rather, which do have to give him credit for painting the tongues, but still, it's just that. And then again, you've got like gray arms in the front, black legs in the back. Like, why couldn't the legs have been the same color? And then you've got these like random kind of metallic, almost grayish turquoise bits here and here, and this panel does not like to stay on, and I don't know why, because it's not broken, it's just too loose to actually stay clipped on. One sec. It doesn't take much to get it back on, but it pops off kind of on its own, which is annoying. Yeah, so again, this set does have problems, which a lot of people I think have across the board, and this popped out again, but it's still a lot of fun to mess with overall, even with the problems. I love the combination of the two robots coming together to make this big three-headed dragon. And yeah, it's got some paint issues, but I think the three-headed dragon, it looks pretty cool. I really just think it would make all the difference if they just went with like a bit more of a cohesive color scheme with the plastics themselves. It's just kind of all over the place in terms of where the colors are placed in the dragon mode, except for like the very top back section. Okay, let's move him off to the side here. This is going to be kind of tricky because he's a big boy, but here he is with a Titan's Return Deluxe and the amiibo, which is another dragon. I know it's a wyvern, but technically speaking, this could be a wyvern too. I don't know. But anyway, yeah, this combined mode is pretty big, and this is why this is considered a leader figure, I think, just because the dragon mode is actually pretty decent size. And this keeps popping down. And yeah, I do like this dragon mode overall. It just has some issues with color. which again, I feel, as I've said multiple times now, it would be less obvious if the plastics weren't quite so all over the place. But still a neat dragon mode. It doesn't even really bother me that just the heads have the orange on them, because like that's where the fire is, so I think that's fine. It just should have a little bit more color, or at least a more cohesive color scheme all the way around. It's kind of like they painted the tail end, like the tip of the tail they painted silver, and it's like, why even bother? Just why? If you're not going to paint this whole thing silver, why not just leave this gray? Then you don't have this very obvious color differential right here. Anyway, that is enough ranting about the weird color choices that they made with this guy. Let's get him into robots mode. And here we have Dragonstorm in his robots mode. We have this guy and this other guy. I don't know what their individual names are, and I don't really care. I just think they look cool, and I think that they make for a pretty neat three-headed dragon when you put them together. So, yeah. Again, I think the color issue is still prevalent here. It's not quite as bad because the bigger guy, his color breakup is a little bit more uniform. Color-wise, I think they still have a similar issue with just too many colors, but they're more uniform in both individual robot modes here. Like, it's just a bit more cohesive in each individual robot mode as opposed to the dragon mode, which was a bit kind of all over the place. I still don't know why they did what they did with some of these colors. Like, why is this panel gray and not black? It's separate plastic, it's not painted. I don't understand why that wasn't black to match that. Why are these panels this like turquoisey metal color with like the silver painted on there when these could have been black and then had the silver painted on there so it wouldn't be quite as standout? I mean, why is this turquoisey blue thing even a thing? Like, I feel like they could have made virtually all of the pieces that are that color either this gray or the black, and it would be a much more cohesive color scheme for everything. Like, especially like down here at the waist. Why is that plastic not black or gray or something? It's just, I don't understand. Like, if we just look at the robot modes here, we can see there's 1, 2, 3 completely different shades of plastic. And I don't know why they did that. I just don't get why this turquoisey blue even had to be in there. I feel like they could have done it a little bit differently. But again, I don't know enough about toy production to know why they decided to do that, but I just think it would have worked better if they didn't. Because again, the color scheme just seems a bit all over the place. And I mean, there is paint in robot mode. Like, they painted the shin bits here like a turquoise kind of metallic color, and these have been painted to kind of match that like beige, dry brushy look. Of course, the chest plate on this guy's also been painted. I just feel like they could have done better with their color choices. I mean, these two obviously look like they're part of the same set. You've got the same colors being called out in this, not in the same spots, but like, this color turquoisey blue is also here. This black is here. This kind of beige, dry brushy thing is also here, also with some silver there, whereas this one's just gray plastic. That gray plastic is here. And then you've even got this kind of turquoisey blue that's down here, up here. So color-wise, color scheme-wise, they do tie in cohesively. It's just the colors themselves, I think they could have done without 1 or 2 shades in there. I think I've got a scratch. Yeah, I've got paint scratches right there. Don't know why that is, because this is the back of the dragon mode legs. I don't see why that would be scratched up like that. Oh well. Anyway, we'll take a look at this guy up close since we've got him here. And he's got kind of a much more robot knight kind of motif going on now. I mean, obviously, like, you turn them around, you've got dragon legs here, but they do a pretty good job of just flipping things around to change how they kind of look. This section here looks really good. I really like the molding on here. It's just like really nice segmented armor, and I like the kind of silver and almost like, it's almost like it's got mud flung on it. Like, this is a really cool chest plate. I'm into that. The asymmetrical shoulder pads, that's fine. I'm totally cool with that. Again, I wish that these panels here were done in black plastic and painted, like, and they painted those bits silver, because just this doesn't need to be that color, but whatever. And the hands are like a slightly open, slightly clawed look, which I think actually looks pretty cool. I actually do like that. And the head. The head is, I mean, it's very crisp, actually. It's very, very nicely done. And I like that they painted the silver detail in there, and the red eyes really pop against the silver and the lighter plastic here. I'm not super into the shape and design of this head. The helmet just kind of looks kind of like a fat guy helmet, I guess, which isn't helped by this guy's physique. Which, I mean, I know this is kind of like, you're supposed to ignore this because this is just part of the dragon mode as it hinges open, but it makes him look a little bit chunky. But other than that, I mean, I think he's cool. Actually, I expected to like this guy the most out of the two of them, but I actually think this guy is the cooler of the two. He ended up stealing my heart. I also like how the dragon wings kind of make a cape, or you could flare them out like regular dragon wings if you wanted. So there's not a whole lot of kibble on this guy aside from the dragon heads for elbow pads, but it's fine. Really, it's the color thing that bugs me the most about this set, and it's going to continue to do that. So just get used to it, I guess. Anyway, looking at this guy. This guy is also not bad. He's a little bit flat. And I know he's got to be kind of smaller to fit inside him because he's, you know, basically the spine, center, head, and tail of the dragon. But I don't know, he's a little bit flat from that angle. And like the way this is designed, this makes it look like his chest is caved in slightly. And I'm sure that was just because of the way that it all transforms, but it's still a bit, I don't know. I feel like maybe a slightly different paint scheme would have kind of masked that effect a little bit better. Also, it's kind of weird. I don't know why they did this, but they got that nice kind of metallic turquoise in there and then painted over it a little bit with that kind of muddy look. I guess it's supposed to look like dirt. I really don't know what they're going for here. I didn't watch the movie, so I don't know the story behind Dragonstorm. Supposedly, as I heard, I think it was like a bunch of different Transformers that come together to make the three-headed dragons. Not just two, but still. It's just kind of... I got things that bug me. It doesn't look bad, though. This torso section is also nicely segmented, but not quite as cool as this one. It's just that concave design is a little bit meh to me. This one also has asymmetrical shoulder pads, which I'm totally fine with. You know, I think shoulder pads being asymmetrical is actually a pretty cool look for most armor designs. And this guy's head is definitely my preferred of the two. I mean, there's a lot more silver on this thing for one, but it's just the design of it I think is cooler too. Like these bits being swept forward here and this big faceplate that's kind of segmented. And he's even got red eyes that are painted in there, which is cool, but in all honesty, I kind of wish that they had painted all across the top in red, maybe even done this entire cleft, like the entire T-shape in red. I think that would have looked better. Because as it is, like, you don't really see, like, it's really hard to tell, even with this lighting, it's hard to tell that there is actually paint in there for eyes. I just think more red in there would have made a big difference. Really would have made that pop a bit more, but it's still my favorite of the two heads. If I really wanted to, I'd like swap the two of them, but I really can't because just the way that they're designed to transform, that wouldn't really work. But again, this guy has even less paint than this guy. Like, he's got his shins and his torso and his head, and that's it. Everything else is just plain plastic. There's nothing on the forearms. And again, I don't know why they decided to make this that gray plastic and not just black, because it stands out and it doesn't need to. There's no reason for this to be standing out. I can only assume it has to do with like construction costs or something and limited molds, but again, like there's so many plastic colors on here. I know I keep droning on about this, but like there's so many different plastic colors on here. I just can't help but think that they could have taken like the turquoisey stuff and made it black or gray or something to kind of tie it all together better. He also has this thing on his back, which it doesn't bother me as much as I thought it would. And when you're looking at him from the front, it's not even really that noticeable. So it's fine. One thing that I like about this guy over this guy is the fact that he can actually, the way his transformation works, with this hand especially, because it's easier to do this, you can give him his weapon and actually have him kind of tilt it down a little bit, which I just think that looks cool. Like he's just kind of holding it off to the side, kind of slightly down. And it's just a cool display option, I think. And his hands are also of the kind of clawed gauntlet variety. Same as the other guy, just black instead of gray. And yeah, they do look cool. I just wish that they had less paint and plastic color problems. If I ever start doing customizing, I think customizing this set, it'll end up looking really cool. Anyway, moving on to the size comparisons here, you can see they are with a Titan's Turn Deluxe and the Amiibo, and I guess they're roughly around Voyager size each. And that's pretty cool. You've got like two Voyager size knight robots that combine to make one liter size three-headed dragon. They're pretty decently sized dudes, and they do look good on a shelf standing next to Skeletron and Steelbane. Kind of ties the whole knight motif together, and they kind of have Steelbane's beige paint thing going on, so it kind of works together. And yeah, I think that is pretty much going to do it for these two. It's a Dragonstorm ultimately taken as a set, I think, is very cool. You know, it's definitely got some issues. Mine does have a couple of QC problems, but nothing that severe. It's all stuff that I can pretty much work around, and when I put the weapons in this guy's hands, the hilt of the sword actually, or pommel or whatever it is, the guard, the thing, this part, the cross guard, whatever it's called, that here. If I put that in his hand, it actually keeps that panel from flopping around loosely, so if he's armed up, it's not even an issue, but I really don't understand why that had to be so freaking loose. It's weird. But yeah, you know, the QC stuff isn't really a problem, and as you can see, both of mine came with heads, so I didn't have that issue either. Sorry, Emgo. I wish that they didn't go as bonkers with the plastic color variety on this. I still love this set. It's a lot of fun. I really enjoy transforming them both back and forth, and I think it's neat having one big dragon that gives you two slightly smaller but still big robots. It's just, the colors could have been so much better. But anyway, yeah, that has been my look at Transformers The Last Knight Dragonstorm. What do you all think? Have you been trying to get your hands on this guy? Have you managed to? Do you have worse QC issues than I do? Do you not have the same QC issues that I do? Have you done any customizing with this? Like, I'm assuming some minor tweaks would actually help quite a bit too, but I just haven't really had the heart to try anything yet. Have you seen any really cool customs of these guys? Because I'm sure they're out there. Or do you just not care because you're not into the look, or you know, I could totally understand if this color problem was too much for anyone to want to spend money on these guys. But by all means, let me know. And while you're at it, also feel free to like or subscribe. Any combination of those three would make me a happy Rob. And remember, art is more than meets the eye.